Hang on a second, man. This is awesome. Yeah, yeah. Welcome back, and thank you for joining me for another reaction video. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on those notifications, and everything will be just fine. Now, we are finally back with more Erra. I've done one other reaction to these guys. It was a song called Snowblood, and I loved it. I've been meaning to get back to them, and I see that they've fairly recently released a new song and video. I'm super keen. I know if it's anything like that first song I looked at, I'm going to be a massive fan. Without further ado, Erra Divisionary official music video. Let's see what you got. Hang on a second. Probably the quickest pause in history, but I'm a big fan, and I'm always on the lookout for how bands start songs, how they evolve them, and how they end them. And this is a good example of quite a smart start to the song. Very powerful, in your face. You can hear that tapping on the guitar, nice phrasing, nice repetition to it, awesome drive on it, a bit of modulation, very, very cool. But listen to the drums. I'm going to have to hear it again, but it sounds like it was tom hits, and it evolved very quickly into that kick drum and a snare, and then it was pretty much the kick drum and snare, but it had more emphasis on the kick after. It's such a quick little section to evolve something before the vocals came in. Very cool, and right up front with kind of no warning. I like that. I think it's awesome. Hang on a second, man. This is awesome. Yeah, so far fire. For them to have that powerful drum sound, nice bass hits to kind of accent some of those kicks, and then have that tapping go as just the melody in the background, the singing on top. And I know there were kind of cycles to it where the screaming came in, went back to the singing, and looped in again. And I'm sure that's going to build into probably either a pre-chorus or a chorus now. But it was really, really smart. They didn't overcomplicate it. Even though it was very busy and a bit technical, it wasn't overcomplicated in terms of how they structured that. And his voice is just awesome. He's also tapping and singing, which is quite difficult. But one thing I do want to mention is songs aren't written that way. You're not sitting down tapping those notes and then singing on top. At least that's not the normal way or normal approach of writing those kind of pieces. You'll either have a vocal melody that you write the guitar to, or you'll use a simple chord structure of that to write the vocals on top. And then there's kind of a process of going, how do we want to play that? Do we want to pick it? Do we want to add this effect? That's usually how that happens. I'd be interested to know if, or how they approach this, because it is very smart and it just works. Fire chorus. I like some of the digital samples that they put in there as well. They work really, really well. It felt like some of that tapping was kind of going throughout the chorus as well. I couldn't really hear behind the guitar, but the guitar and vocals are two things I really want to talk about, because the tone of that distortion, I didn't expect it to be like that. I thought it would be a bit more sharp, whereas it sounded very MIDI and just sweet. You describe guitar tones as sweet, and there's no real easy way to explain that, but that sounded really sweet, albeit quite harsh, because it had a nice like drive on it, really harsh drive, but digital, but definitely sat in that kind of sweet spot for me in terms of the frequency. Didn't expect that at all. incredible belting on those vocals. He's been kind of from the beginning just belting out those vocals. He hasn't really kind of pulled them back or shot them up any higher. It's been very powerful from the start, and the reason he can do that and it doesn't seem overwhelming is because the music keeps retreating and then increasing in power. The screaming has been used really tastefully. I love this kind of stuff. Listen, I listen to some really heavy stuff, so the screaming for me could be throughout the whole track, but I'm glad it isn't here because it's a really tasteful balance between how strong his voice is and a tail off to a lot of the pieces, even in the chorus. Very cool. I want to go back. That should be enough. Let's go back one more just to make sure. I always go back enough because I want you to hear what I'm hearing, and hopefully we can learn something together, and maybe I'll pick up something I missed as well. But that tapping is really nice because of all the accents, but that nice distorted hits on top of it is a real nice addition to make sure that songs evolve. They keep getting pushed forward. He's got such a power to his voice that even in the verse when it's been more, I guess, reserved, if you will, there is still a second cycle to that where it belts up again. It's just all very cool. That's awesome. So that's essentially a pre-chorus. At least it feels like that. It's really cool. Good place to stop because listen to the guitar work there, man. He's screaming on top of it. It's really kind of brutal. He's having his moment to do something. Where I say it's screaming, I mean, it's not the overbearing kind of screaming. There's still a slight tonal value to it, if you will, and you can hear the clarity in the words. It's very cool. But the way they're playing some of those chords is they're doing a lot of ghost notes, ghost strumming. So it's where you kind of holding the strings, but you're not pushing down on the frets, and you're strumming to get the squeak of it, to get that distorted tone to kind of come out. But there isn't actually a tonal value because you're not pushing down. Very cool, and breaks up the music really nicely so you can hear the drums and the vocals. Okay, before I'll leave it there to track forward because it seems like it's in a bit of an interlude piece here. The one thing that the drums are doing, which is very smart and quite simple, is when you hear that ordinary beat, you're hearing the accent of the snare isn't on the beginning of the beat. You're hearing first the kick and the hi-hat coming, then you're hearing the snare accent. That's traditionally what you would hear. But when he goes into the chorus, he's hitting the snare on every count. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a slight variance. When he goes towards the end of it, you hear him back off from that again. So it's a very simple thing that just adds a lot of massive value from my side of things to the power of the song. Oh, come on now. stop there to go forward. One back just to hear the dip into it. Nice to hear both the vocalists singing at that point. This is an awesome bridge / outro piece. I'm not sure if it's going to go anywhere from here. There isn't much time left, but how beautiful was that drop and then build up again? Because the song's been quite intense from the beginning. It's been full on, and it's nice to let the listener go on a journey with you to dip it down and build it up so brilliantly. There's a lot of cool digital samples and things happening in here, which are invaluable. Hard to pick out, but they are there and they're invaluable to the song. And to be honest, in my opinion, based on the 2 songs I've heard, invaluable to their ownership of the signature sound they have. Absolutely awesome. Massive fan, as I said, and you know, it the minute they started playing and I heard a lot of those little digital pieces, some of the nice intricate guitar work, his voice, I was like, yeah, I remember this, and it's awesome. So I can't wait to hear more, if I'm honest. The first 2 songs have been complete absolute bangers, and I really need more of it. So there will be more, I promise you that. And I'd love to know if they've got anything else out that you guys are keen for me to hear. So if they do, please pop it in the comments. Another way to kind of get requests in is on our Discord server. There's a recommendations page where the awesome Aethan built a bot that pulls things into a Excel sheet for Tank and I to reference. It makes our lives much easier. There's over 900 songs in there at the moment, but you can also kind of vote on ones, and we don't necessarily just pick the ones that have the most votes, but it helps kind of at least divide them within the file so we can see what people want us to take a look at, and we can also kind of pick and choose as we go. That was awesome. That was really awesome. One other thing before I let you go, if you do enjoy these reactions and you'd like to kind of remind yourself of the journey we've been on, I have a Spotify playlist of all the reactions I've done, minus a few songs that aren't on Spotify. Frosty, one of my good friends and one of the mods on my channel, he put that playlist together. The link will be in this description, so go ahead and follow that if you want to remind yourself of all the awesome songs we've looked at. I think there's over 200. There must be well over 200 now. And yeah, excited about that. So let me know where to go next. Very cool song. Absolute banger. Erra are god tier for me. They're a great technical band with a sound that I absolutely love. So that was awesome. Until the next one, please be safe, be nice to each other, and have a damn good day.